So for your project one, your first part, which is what we'll be doing a few things here. Drawing a path trace, which is what we already did. Converting a path to a selection in the layer mask, which is what we did earlier. We had that layer mask. And then we have a few things here. We are creating a logo with text and a custom shape and adding a preset shape. So these last two might seem a bit complicated, but we can go through them together because they're a bit more straightforward than they come off to be. So to get started with your project one, what you're going to want to do, and I can close this for later use, is of course open up Photopea. And after you have Photopea open, you can navigate to your DM140 course page, 141, excuse me. And then inside of content, you can go to student data files. And then you have your projects here. And then you'll have project one, and you have a few things to start around with. The first thing that we're going to be opening up here is the 08start.psd file. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up for us here, 08start.psd. And then you can open this into your project any way you'd like, but I'm just going to go ahead and drag this in here. Now, this project has a few things going on with it, and right away you might notice that we have one about the path guide. So when I taught this course a bit previously, it was a bit tough on this one with the path guide, and the path is kind of annoying sometimes. And you can actually hide this path guide if you'd like, but essentially what you're going to be doing is, if you recall from our lecture, I went ahead and traced around the images of a roof and of a bin. And what we're going to be doing today is tracing around an orange and changing its color. So you can follow this path guide, and I'm going to show everyone what happens when you follow it. There's a cool way of doing it too. I'm going to select pen, and remember, we have to go up to shape and hit path. And to get started off, you just need to click after which your pen is selected. You click here, and then you click over here as well. Now you'll notice that my path guide is curved, and my selection point here is not curved. So how do I go about fixing that? Well, you'll also notice that above this, you have something that says drag handle to here. So what that means, I'm going to restart really quick, is I'm going to click on A, and after I click on B, I'm going to hold down my mouse, and I'm going to drag my cursor up to that selection, and you'll notice that it makes this big kind of like bar-ish type of thing on our line here. And what that does is it curves your path. So all you need to do in this project is drag this one out up to here into the center, and if you release, you'll notice that it's not perfect, but I follow the path pretty well for that one. And again, for your project one, all you're going to be doing here is going ahead and continuing to drag it around. Now, if you were like me and this got very frustrating at some points, another thing you could do, which is a bit more time consuming for your project, is you can actually hide the path guide, or you can keep it on if you like the white of it, and select pen. And what you could do is just go ahead and make very small cat selections here. And then it might take a bit longer, but as you can see, you could just go ahead and cover the path with, whoopsie-daisy, now I'm getting really into it. And you can just cover the path with a bunch of small lines here, as you can see here, with small dots, and that will accomplish the exact same effect we're looking for. But I would say don't do that right away. I would say try the dragging of the handles, because that's more helpful and useful down the line. But also, I don't want anyone to go absolutely crazy with the pen tool and nearly give up on it. So if you are experiencing really rough issues with figuring out how to do the pen tool and the dragging and stuff, you are more than okay with just doing small little drags like this in case it works out better for you. Again, everyone, the thing that I'm looking for is the completed project. So I'm not... as long as you didn't copy and paste, of course, I won't know how you guys got it done. So it's up to you guys on how you want to use the pen tool. But just know that you are not stuck with only one choice. You have many. So right now I am doing the small version very quickly. I might be setting a bad example, apologies. But I just wanted to show you guys what will be happening in here. And again, this isn't going to be perfect for right now. but I just want to show off what we're doing in this project. Now, when I come to here at point N, how do I figure out when my path is done, right? How do I figure out that I'm done using this path? Well, of course, I click back onto my main original anchor point, as they call them, and at the top in my history, there is something that says close path. So after it says close path, we now know that we have access to, we have access to this path. Now, in your manual, you are supposed to, after you create your path, see here. And one more thing, actually, I want to talk about is this direct select. You might see this pop up inside of your project. Let's just say that I created my path and I really don't like how it turned out. What I can do is I can right click on this thing that says path select underneath it. And path select here moves your path around like the select option would of like an image or a layer. So I can move my path around any way I'd like. And if I want to remake my path, or essentially say, what I'm trying to say is I want to change my path a little bit. Does everyone see how down here my thing doesn't go all the ways to the bottom here? How do I make this go down more? Well, I can go to path select. I can right click path select and hit direct select. And then when direct select is selected, I can select a anchor point and drag it further around and manipulate it. And I can do this for all of them. And again, the unfortunate part with the direct select is you won't be able to get those handlebars that curve again because your path is connected. So all direct select will do for you is move your buttons around, your anchor points. Awesome. So now after your project 1 is finished here, we can go ahead and try to apply your selection and layer mask, which is what we're used to. And again, this is what we did in the participation protocol that we had earlier, where we did it on the train station. And because I don't want to do the entire project here, I just want to show you guys a quick example of it. So let's just say you guys need to do it with hue and saturation. So make sure you use hue and saturation. For our example here, I am going to be using just black and white. So what you need to do after you have your path made and selected is go into your adjustment layer, go up to, you guys have hue and saturation, I'm just going to pick black and white. And now again, we have this issue where the black and white covers the entire screen. And after it covers the entire screen, I can go to layer, vector mask, and then current path. Then, of course, because it takes the current path, it's only going to make what I made inside of the pathway eligible. Or, excuse me, black and white. I can hide the path guide here and whatnot. And that's about it for your first project. And there's another thing here that is the creating a logo and a custom shape text. And again, this is just using the type tool. So I'm going to try it out on my side here using a little bit of a different aspect. I'm just going to hit the type tool. And then I think it was just called Citrus Lane Farms. And then, of course, because we're using the text tool, we can go up and increase the size. I can make this white if I want. And I can kind of put it wherever I'd like. Again, the logo isn't the hardest part. It's just an interesting part. The portion that I wanted to talk about here, and for your project, I would say copy the guidelines that's given here identically. But the portion that's interesting is this little logo we get. As you remember, at the bottom here, we get this little logo, and he's saying we want to add a custom shape. So if you've never done this before, there is something in Photopea called custom shapes. And how do we go about custom shapes? Well, if you remember way back from our first day of DM140, when I selected rectangle, I'm able to draw out rectangles. And if I right click on rectangle, I have my circles. This might be familiar to some people. And if I have my line, I have my line that can go around here. And now I have this custom shape aspect that's here. And inside of this custom shape, as this brings it up here, or excuse me, there is one more item inside of the rectangle and ellipse selection here at the bottom that's called custom shape. If I select custom shape, it will load up a bunch of stuff, but there's an option up here that is like a play button with an arrow going down. If I click on that arrow going down, you'll notice that I get a ton of stuff to choose from. And one of these is B or something. And after I select the one that I like, I can actually just drag it out and it becomes a shape that I can work with. So this is pretty neat. I can make my own custom shape here. And because it's a vector image, I can go to Edit, Free Transform, and manipulate the image to anything that I'd like. Now that's the wrong image. And in this project, we're asked to upload an image. So to do that, what you will need to do is go into your student data files, which we opened up earlier. Inside of your student data files, you'll see that we have this item called CSH. And CSH stands for custom shape essentially. And after we see that, we can actually click on the CSH file, and it will download it at the bottom for me. And inside of the CSH file, you'll notice that I have the custom shape and the shape over here. And now, how do I go ahead and upload my custom shape file, my CSH file? Well, there's an arrow that's going on right here. If I click on that arrow, you'll see that I have something that says load CSH file. If I click on load, I can then navigate to where I found this. I'm going to go to my downloads. My flower shaped CSH file is right here. And then I can hit open. And then you can just hit OK to this. And now you'll notice you get a pop-up that says shapes added. And then if I scroll down with my mouse, or there's a scroll bar right here to the very bottom, you'll see that the CSH file that was added was the logo that we got. I'm going to click on that logo, and then of course I can drag it out, and it'll be pretty much right there. I go to Edit, Free Transform, and mess around with it a bit. And again, I'm not going to keep the colors the exact same, but essentially that's your first part for your project. The second part is definitely doable if you guys want to try it out with creating a custom logo, but that's not in today's lecture stuff. So I would definitely say if you'd like to do it, go ahead. But for today, I want to make sure everyone is okay with doing this and knowing how to use the pen tool. For your project 1, please remember that you are going to be submitting 2 items. One is going to look like this, your citrus lane farms at the top. Sure. And the second one is going to be this type of logo that we created. My waiting room isn't working there. Sorry, everyone. The second one that we're going to be making is this logo one here. Awesome. Okay. All right. And that will be it for your project 1.